Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 10. I'm Tom Sherry. Mark is off tonight, so let's get started. Well, we think it's fitting, even though we have lots of news to tell you about, that today, since it's the summer solstice, we should lead with our own meteorologist, Michelle Boss, as she's got some great-looking weather to report to you. Michelle?
That's right, and just in time, of course. Last weekend, it was certainly not feeling like summer at all, not Great Lake weather. We're going to make up for it this weekend and even towards the end of the week here. We're already starting to see that beautiful summer weather. We had sunshine today, lower 80s. As we take a look at satellite and radar, there is a little bit of shower activity out in the central Idaho panhandle. Places like Moscow, Lewiston may get a few sprinkles tonight, but it looks like all the stormy weather is going to be a little bit farther east and northeast, as you can see. Pretty much clear skies across much of the rest of eastern Washington and North Idaho. Temperature-wise, we were in the lower 80s today. We're going to continually warm it up over the next couple of days. It's been a mild evening as we sit at 73 still right now in Spokane. It is about 20 degrees cooler, though, in Deer Park. 54. You can open your windows out there for sure to cool off. 64 in Coeur d'Alene, just under 70 in Moses Lake, 60s across the Palouse, and 76 in Lewiston. Short-term forecast calls for clear skies tonight, plenty of sunshine tomorrow, and we will see mid-80s tomorrow afternoon. A little bit more cloud cover Saturday, but 88, and then breezy conditions, but dry on Sunday with highs in the lower 80s.
Love that. Thank you, Michelle. Well, with wildfire season well underway, we are getting a closer look at the expanded aerial fleet that state firefighters are hoping to use to fight back. Firefighters hope to respond to calls now within 20 minutes. As Drew Mickelson reports, with this fleet, that is realistic.
A decade ago, the state only had Vietnam War era Army surplus helicopters on the state's wildfire front lines. These birds are still in action, but they have been updated and are now just part of a much larger aerial fleet.
And these have all been refurbished, but they last 4 times as long as the old Army rotor blades.
The state has 10 fully refurbished Hueys, about 1/3 of the aircraft ready for flight this summer. The Department of Natural Resources has twice as many helicopters and planes as it did in 2016. The Hueys and their ability to drop water make them efficient for fighting fires. But Chief of Air Operations Dave Ritchie says the newest additions to Kodiak planes help keep fires from spreading. Their cameras provide HD thermal imaging to spot new fires that aren't yet visible, like from recent lightning strikes.
And one fire, pays for the whole program.
And more aircraft means more coverage. In 2016, the state had 4 bases for its aerial support. Today, 13 airports from Mount Vernon to Pullman have state aircraft on standby.
Our goal is to put the fire out, and we can't let fire burn, and get back to get ready for the next fire.
Along with the increased aerial support, recent legislation has also enabled the state to bulk up its tools on the ground. Excavators and bulldozers are now stationed all across the state, awaiting that next wildfire call. In Olympia, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
Well, most of Washington is preparing for the hottest temperatures we've seen so far this year, but we won't be getting as hot as parts of the United States. Other parts, that will be seeing temperatures close to 100 degrees. And that's caused by something called a heat dome. That heat dome will be across much of the country, but what exactly does a heat dome mean? This week's extreme heat is caused by a heat dome that's parked over much of the Midwest and Northeast. Now, here's how that happens. A heat dome is a high-pressure system in the upper atmosphere that traps warm air in place, similar to how a lid traps heat over a pot of boiling water. Because hot air expands, it creates a bulging dome. That causes the air below it to sink and compress and raises temperatures in the lower atmosphere. And that dome keeps the hot air trapped inside and creates a heat wave on the ground. Scientists say climate change is increasing the likelihood of heat domes, making extreme heat events both more frequent and more intense in our warming world. Well, tonight, a woman missing since Sunday has been found safe. 62-year-old Linda Kent was last seen at Old Mission Park in Cataldo, Idaho. Now, according to the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office, she was found just hours ago, several miles away from where she disappeared. Deputies say she was taken to the hospital, treated for dehydration, and then reunited with her family. Also new tonight, the off-ramp at exit 238B on the westbound I-90 freeway will reopen tomorrow. Now that's at the intersection of Thor and Freya. This is according to the city. The eastbound exit of Thor and Freya will instead be closed tomorrow, and that closure will start at 6 in the morning. For a complete list of closures, just head on over to KREM.com. Well, starting tomorrow, dispersed campfires, and that means fires that are outside of designated camping spots, are going to be banned on state lands throughout southeast Washington. And that includes areas like Cle Elum and Yakima and the Tri-Cities. Campfires will still be allowed, though, in approved designated campgrounds, but are otherwise banned across DNR-managed lands. DNR also says you can still use propane or butane camp stoves, and of course, you can also use backpacking stoves. Well, late last night, a helicopter crashed in Lincoln County, killing 2 people. Today, the county coroner identified them as Ryan Sandvig from Spokane and Mark Mantefel from Coeur d'Alene. The NTSB is investigating the crash and documenting the wreckage. A preliminary report is expected within the next 30 days. Earlier this evening, KREM 2 spoke exclusively with a woman who lives about a mile from the crash. She says that the area sees a lot of air traffic, but this time something sounded strange.
I could tell it was a helicopter, but it didn't sound like a smooth helicopter, like a whirring. It sounded like a thump, thump, thump. Something just sounded off. When I drove my car down the road and I saw that, I got chills because it was sad.
The helicopter crash sparked a small fire in the area. Fortunately, crews were able to contain it quickly. A former co-worker of Mark, one of the gentlemen who died on that crash, sent us a statement today saying that he was an exceptional physician and human being, and he will be missed. Well, now to Night Beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. The suspect in a downtown hit-and-run death appeared in court for the first time today. 42-year-old Gary Burns had his first court appearance this afternoon. He's now being held on $100,000 bail. He's accused of killing Janet Mann in a June 11th hit-and-run. New court documents claim that Burns hit the 78-year-old while she was walking at Brown and Main. Police used witness and surveillance video to identify Burns's Chevy Silverado and its license plates.
This particular incident was highly publicized, and it took investigators a few days to figure out who may be involved. And obviously when they focused in on this particular case and the forensic information available, it centered on you.
During questioning, court records show that Burns did admit to hitting Mann because he didn't see her. He told police that he drove away out of fear, then immediately went home and hid his pickup. Westbound I-90 is back open tonight after a crash backed up traffic for almost the entire day. This is video from earlier tonight. Tonight we know that one person is in critical condition after being trapped under 2 cars. A semi-truck was also involved. Tonight the accident is under investigation by the Washington State Patrol. The city of Spokane narrowed down its list of police chief candidates to 4 finalists. They are Assistant Chief for the Tucson Police Department, Kevin Hall, Yakima Police Chief Matthew Murray, the Dalles Police Chief Tom Worthy, and Colonel Kathleen Lanier with the Memphis Police Department. Next Thursday, the finalists will participate in a public forum at the Central Library starting at 5:30 in the evening. The community can ask the candidates questions and then learn more about them before a decision is made. Well, that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head over to our website. That's KREM.com. The electronic dance music festival Beyond Wonderland is returning to the Gorge Amphitheater this Saturday. It's been 1 year since a gunman shot and killed 2 Seattle nurses at the same festival. 3 other people were also hurt. The shooting traumatized festival attendees and led to the 2-day festival being cut short.
It was definitely like a deep, kind of mourning.
2 beautiful girls that were so young, so in love in their relationship, and just they're taken too soon.
Organizers say because of increased security measures this year, wait times to enter the campgrounds may be up to 3 hours. Since the shooting, Live Nation, that's the company that held the festival, and also the security companies who worked the festival, were sued for wrongful death. The accused gunman is James Kelly. Now, he was an active member of the military at the time of the shooting and allegedly had taken mushrooms before the attack. His next court appearance will be in August. And that was KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.